Today. Good. Well, we had a really good practice today. It was spirited and tried to make a lot of game-like situations out there. And, one of the goals for practice this week is take, 3 early opponents and take a little bit of time on them each day, and then about half the practice to continue to work on fundamental improvements, for our team and evaluate the players that we have, because starting tomorrow, we'll have to pretty much decide, all right, who we're going to coach, who we're going to invest our time in, whether it's, special teams or figure out if a guy can make enough of a contribution and develop enough to be able to contribute to the team. And, so guys worked hard today, though. I was really pleased with that. The big focus was on finishing plays. I think players get tired of practicing against each other when you've been in camp for, I don't know, this was the 20-some practice today. So, they get a little bored. But, the whole key to the drill is once they think they know how to do it right, they think they can get casual and not pay attention to detail and practice things the way they need to. But the whole idea is I'm going to practice it until I can't do it wrong. There's a big difference in that. So that means you're going to go out there every day and focus on doing it exactly right so you can do it over and over and over and over, and it's going to be a part of who you are and what you do, and those habits will carry over in the game. So that's something that we've really tried to emphasize with our players, this week. From an injury standpoint, Dominic is back at practice. Corwin is not able to practice. Probably will practice next week, hopefully. Bradley Silva has practiced every day. He did have a pin put in his hand. He is in a cast, but they think in a week they could take the cast off, so that's next week. So he has been able to practice with a cast on his hand, and that has not been a problem. So, tomorrow we really start preparation for camp is officially kind of over today, even though it's not camp anymore because we've been going to school. We really start on Wisconsin, and we'll, just move things up a couple days and, give us a couple extra days to teach the players not only how to practice for a game and prepare for a game, but the things that they need to do on their own, regardless of what their role is, to be able to prepare for the game, watch film, understand the plan, and know that coming here for, a 1-hour meeting and a 2-hour practice, that may not be quite enough, to really understand what the other team is trying to do to you and what your job is and how you have to respond and react to it. So that'll give us a couple extra days to do that as well.
Start right there.
Nick, how's the second cornerback spot competition going? We've seen, a couple different guys over there.
Well, what is the first spot? I don't know who the first spot is. So you talking about cornerback? Oh, you disappoint me. I thought sure it would be quarterback. Marlon has played, out there and done a pretty good job. Mo has played and done a pretty good job. Tony Brown has played out there and done a pretty good job. Averett. So there's a lot of competition there. I really haven't decided who will play in the game, who gives up the fewest plays, and who can be responsible and do their job. I mean, I think that's the most important thing when you play that position.
The other side with John.
You mentioned kind of starting to get ready for Wisconsin and starting to kind of do the game plan installation. What are the challenges that come with, especially with the quarterback position potentially still unresolved, with trying to get multiple guys ready for what Wisconsin does defensively, and especially if multiple guys have to play in that first game? Well,
multiple would be 2 to me, which is what you usually do for any team in any game. And then you have a third that you try to get ready on a limited basis, and that's what we plan to do. That's really kind of how we practice this week, and that's how we'll continue to practice. Now, who those guys are exactly and in what order they're in exactly, that hadn't been decided, quite yet. But I have been pleased with the way all 3 of the guys played, this week. They've all done a really, really good job, and I've seen a lot of progress offensively, this week. I think that's been, one of the most encouraging things is I see some continuity, togetherness. Offensive line is, a little more physical, playing with more toughness. The receivers definitely made a big step this week in improving. And I think because of that, I think the quarterbacks trusted them a little more, and I think they gained a little confidence that, guys are going to be precise in what they were supposed to do, and they could, count on delivering the ball where it should be delivered. So that was a really, really good thing this week.
Right here to Michael.
Just curious, which are the three quarterbacks that would be in that rotation? And also, we haven't heard much about David Cornwell in a while. Just wondered an update on him.
Well, the three guys that we worked this week are Jake, Cooper, and Alec. Those are the three guys that got the bulk of the work. Everybody gets work. All right, everybody's working, but those guys got the bulk of the work, and David Cornwell has done a really, really good job. Struggled a little bit early on in camp. He's certainly getting better, all the time, and we have a lot of confidence that he'll be a good player in the future.
Right back over here.
With Reggie Ragland, what does he bring to the team as a pass rusher, and also how does he improve in coverage as well?
Well, we use Reggie in a lot of multiple roles. Primarily he's the Mike linebacker in regular. He's the money linebacker in nickel. He can play Mac and dime, or, we use him as a buck, which makes him the fourth rusher in dime. He's very athletic. I think the thing that he probably gets the least amount of practice on, that is something that we need to work on him with, is he's got really good talent and ability to rush because he's explosive, has a good burst, but just to be able to work with the other players on, the pass rush games, those types of things, responsibilities when he's in that position, that's probably the most difficult thing when a guy plays multiple roles is, how do we get enough reps on all those things in all those areas. But Reggie's smart. He handles it well. He's got good work habits, so if there's a guy that's capable of accomplishing it, it's certainly a guy like him.
Right here in the middle, Seth with A's.
Nick, with all the quarterback battles around the SEC and other places, a lot of programs have named a starter by now. You guys, Georgia, are waiting. What do you say to those people that worry that the lack of naming a number one guy at this point means that, you don't have a really good quarterback?
Well, we've been through this several times before, and I think you can name a guy. But if we named a guy and then that guy wasn't the best performer and then we had to unname him, what good does that do? So sometimes you run the risk of naming a guy before he's really won the team or won the job. So then you have to unname him. So does that do the player any good? And to me, when AJ and Phillip Sims were here, we didn't name a starter for the first game. We played both guys in the first game. They played a quarter. The next guy played a quarter. See who played the best, and then name that guy the starter for the next game. And I'm not saying that's our plan, but I think when you're really trying to give people who are competing, and they've all done a good job, you have to have some clear-cut evidence that a guy really has won the job and he has won the team. And you can't make that happen. As bad as I would like to be able to say, this is our starting quarterback, I would really like to be able to say that. That doesn't mean that we don't have a good quarterback. It means we may have more than one good quarterback, and they are both playing very well, or three guys are playing really well, and it makes it very difficult, to make a decision. So, and how those guys develop and who we think can improve and develop the most during the season is also going to have something to do with this decision that we make. But I would not rule out the fact that I'm not saying we're going to do this or that we even want to do this, but if that doesn't happen, we may play more than one guy in the first game.
A couple more, Matt. Oh, go ahead, Travis.
I wanted to ask you about Darren Lake and sort of his development and the role you anticipate him playing in the defense this year.
Right. Well, Darren is a nose guard for us, plays, does a good job for us when we're in regular defense, where we play a little more 3-4. The thing that we've tried to work on him with is, being a little bit more of a pass rusher, so that he could have a role when we play nickel and sub. But I think primarily he does a really, really good job when, we're playing against regular people. He can get in there and play nose. It's a running situation. Goal line, short yardage, those types of things, as well as just regular down when we're playing against regular people and we got our basic 3-4 people in there. He does a really good job.
Two more very quickly, Matt, and then Alex.
Nick, just as far as your decision-making process, when do you think you'll make a decision as far as what you're going to do quarterback-wise against Wisconsin, even if you don't announce it?
Well, I don't really have a timetable for that. I asked one of our players in the offensive line, everybody thinks you got to have all this continuity, and I asked the offensive lineman, I said, which one of the quarterbacks you like the best? They said, well, since we don't huddle, we don't even know who's in there. So my question is it just like a known fact that you have to do this a certain way? That if you don't have a starting quarterback, that means you can't get ready to play well? If you play more than one guy, like, that's we can't play good? I don't know. I have confidence in our guys that they will play well in the game. How we're going to play them in the game, I haven't decided, and look, I don't have a gun to my head saying, okay, if I don't know this by Saturday, I'm going to miss church and go jump off the bridge. I ain't got there yet. I'm not there yet.
Last one with Alex.
Cooper's obviously a guy that you moved over to receiver in the spring because of his athleticism. What can he provide out there maybe that some of the other quarterbacks can't?
Well, Cooper's really, really improved. I told him I meet with all the guys after spring practice, and I tell them, look, you've done everything we've asked you to do for the team. You're very athletic. You went out and tried to play receiver when we need you to do that. But if you're going to be a quarterback, we want you to improve, your accuracy as a passer, your ability to take care of the ball. You're very athletic. You're the kind of quarterback we'd like to have here. And lo and behold, he did that. He did that in May. He did that over the summer. And his completion percentage has been very, very good, relative to the other guys. And he is very athletic and he can run. And, we like a quarterback like that.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you.